Mr. Zuckerberg, thank you. It's been a long afternoon, and I appreciate you being here and taking the time with every single one of us. I'm going to echo a lot of what I've heard my colleagues say today as well. Appreciate you being here, appreciate the apology, but stop apologizing and let's make the change. I think it's time to really change the conduct. I appreciate the fact that you talked about your principles for Facebook. Notice to users on the use of the data, and that users have complete control of their data. But the skepticism that I have, and I'm hoping you can help me with this, is over the last, what, 7 years, 14 years, 7 years, I haven't seen really much change in ensuring that the privacy is there and that individual users have control over their data. So let me ask you this. Back in 2009, you made 2 changes to your privacy policy. And in fact, prior to that, most users could either identify only friends or friends of friends as part of their privacy, correct? If they wanted to protect their data, they could identify only friends or friends of friends who could see their data. Isn't that correct?
Senator, I believe that we've had the option for people to share with friends, friends of friends, a custom audience, or publicly for a long time. Okay. I don't remember exactly when we put that in place, but I believe it was before 2009.
So either you can choose only friends or friends of friends to decide how you're going to share that, protect that data, correct?
Those are 2 of the options, yes.
Okay. And in 2011, when the FTC started taking a look at this, they were concerned that if somebody chose only friends, the individual user was under the impression they could continue to restrict sharing of data to limited audience, but that wasn't the case. And in fact, selecting friends only did not prevent users' information from being shared with their third-party applications their friend used. Isn't that the case? And that's why the FTC was looking at you and making that change, because there was concern that if you had friends on your page, a third party could access that information. Isn't that correct?
Senator, I don't remember the exact context that the...
So let me help you here, because David Vladeck, who was spent nearly 4 years as director of the Federal Trade Commission's Bureau of Consumer Protection, where he worked, including on the FTC's enforcement case against Facebook, basically identifies in this article that that was the case, that not only did Facebook misrepresent, and that's why there were 8 counts of deceptive acts and practices, the actual FTC in November's 2011 decree basically required Facebook to give users clear and conspicuous notice and to obtain affirmative, let me jump back here, to do 3 things. The decree barred Facebook from making any further deceptive privacy claims, and it required Facebook get consumers' approval before changing the way it shares their data. And most importantly, the 3rd thing, it required Facebook to give users clear and conspicuous notice and to obtain affirmative express consent before sharing their data with third parties. That was part of the FTC consent decree, correct?
Senator, that sounds right to me.
Okay. So at that time, you were on notice that there were concerns about the sharing of data and information, users' data, including those friends with third parties, correct?
Senator, my understanding...
Well, let me ask you this. Let me do it this way. In response to the FTC consent to make those changes, did you make those changes, and what did you do to ensure individuals' user data was protected and they had notice of that information and that potentially third parties would be accessing that and they had to give express consent? What did you specifically do in response to that?
Senator, a number of things. One of the most important parts of the FTC consent decree that we signed was establishing a robust privacy program at the company headed by our Chief Privacy Officer, Erin Egan.
Can you give me specifics? And I know, and I've heard this over and over again, and I'm running out of time. But here's the concern that I have. It can't be a privacy policy because that's what the consent said it couldn't be. It had to be something very specific, something very simple, like you've heard from my colleagues, and that did not occur. Had that occurred, we wouldn't be here today talking about Cambridge Analytica. Isn't that really true? Had you addressed those issues then, had you done an audit, had you looked at not only the third-party applications, but audited their associated data storage as well, you would have known that this type of data information was being shared. And that's our concern. And that's what I'm saying now. Time just to make the change. It's time to really address the privacy issue. It's time to really come and lead the country on this issue and how we can protect individual users' data and information. I know my time is running out, but I appreciate you being here, and I'm just hoping that you're committed to working with us in the future and addressing these concerns.